Hey everybody. This video is really designed to explain a lot more about the supernatural for those of you who are having trouble understanding how it works, because it is kind of tricky. To begin, the most fundamental aspect to understanding the supernatural is understanding that everything, everything that we do, every action, everything we do in general, um, uses energy. And in some cases, the energy is very little. Like lifting a book doesn't require a lot of energy. Whereas, you know, creating a sun requires a huge amount of energy. Let's go move this back real quick. Okay. Um, so energy is really where it starts. Now, expand on that. Instead of thinking energy, think. Um, no, no. Keep thinking about energy because that does help. Okay. So, um, your soul, your essence, the thing that makes you you, your ego. Think of that as just about the only real thing in existence. Okay, that's solid brick. Everything else is just energy. Sometimes it's slower, sometimes it's faster, but everything else is energy. Your body is really slow energy, like super duper duper slow, and it's just trying to move around and do its thing. Um, in that egg example that I've given before, think of your egg white, which is your spirit, as a faster energy. Okay, and then think of your soul as again that like brick. So in the example of the spirit and the soul, which are different things, your soul, your spirit, and yada yada. So in terms of like ghosts, when they hover above our physical plane and are able to do things that bypass the laws of reality, it's because they're not totally in our dimension. They're kind of hovering on top of it, in between the many different dimensions that exist out there. Just about every entity you'll come across is a being of dimensional movement. I'll get to that in a sec. But so then you're going to ask yourself, okay, so then why is it that when I have iron and I hit a ghost, it dissipates? Or when I shoot it with a salt round? Well, the answer, it's pointing at me, the answer is very simple. Iron is a basically universal grounding conductive agent. It takes the dimensional energy output of a spirit or of a ghost and grounds it, pretty much makes it minimal. So when you hit a ghost with iron, okay, so there's a ghost in front of me and wham, I hit it with iron, okay? Let's say here's a shotgun shell, there's the ghost, wham. Let's say the shotgun shell is the soul. The spirit dissipates temporarily, okay? So the energy is kind of scattered and grounded and it all just gets transformed. And then here's our dimension, okay? Here's the part that we're on, and then here's the part that the soul is on. It just kind of gets pushed back, almost like getting forced out of our dimension a little bit more. Salt and iron aren't enough to push it out completely, but they can still harm it. They can kind of make it go away for a little while. In order to make a ghost move on, you have to destroy the thing that holds it here. Now, in terms of spirits like demons and angels and, fae, um, they're already in another dimension. Although angels, like I said, they might be able to actually cross over into ours. But when these beings interact with our dimension, they're just kind of linking the two, almost like a wormhole, but they're just really, really, really close. And that's a similar reason. Iron is a universal conductive dimensional agent. When it hits a dimension that's trying to push through, or a being in a dimension that's trying to push through, um, the entity gets pushed out. If you use salt, same thing. Um, Lines of salt and lines of iron, they're again, the universal conductiveness does not allow the creature to literally pass through. It would have to be kind of like shoved back and then try and break back in. Now, in this process, iron and basically like and salt, not a whole lot dimensionally wise can pass through, but that's where they're used a lot in ritual. And then there comes magic. Okay, when you do a ritual, you're kind of drawing down a higher dimension, and through that, entities are able to cross through and do what you want them to do. Like angels and demons and all kinds of things. The dimensions get closer, and in certain places, they can actually kind of bleed through one another, and then you got really bad stuff happening. But for the most part, um, your dimensions stay pretty much separate. It takes a lot of energy to actually let something cross through. But in that case, what happens to you when you die? Well, the answer is pretty simple. When your body dies and your, egg breaks free, the egg can move on through the dimensions, and depending on, where it's supposed to go, I guess like a spirit guide or something would guide it through. The spirit guide, or even itself, can take itself to its final place. Hell, heaven, monkey land, that dimension full of shrimp. It doesn't really matter. Um, Now, a ghost, other spirits as well, have incredible amount of energy, and that's why they can push on dimensions. And sometimes we can too, and that's if you've ever heard of a psychic. They're sort of pushing themselves out of our dimension a little bit, mentally, not necessarily physically. But that makes them more susceptible to things like demonic possession or channeling, all kinds of things. So, right. That's basically really it. Just think of every other dimension as, another afterlife, kind of. Like a never ending journey. These other dimensions are not temporal dimensions. It's not like every decision you make makes another dimension. That's quantum theory. This is more so multiple universes, each one with its own physical laws. So there's more than I can count, but they're out there. Um, but just about the universal thing between every single one is that iron conducts in all of them, and salt repels in all of them. And then salt, being that's a pure substance deemed by the creator, um, it helps. Okay? If you have any questions, because I know this is a really difficult subject, just leave them in the comments and I'll be sure to get back to you. Or just message me. Okay? Have a good day and happy hunting.